I'm going to try and pick up where I left off the other night when I was making videos. I was trying to do this to show my friend in Florida how to do the mosaic crochet because she's been reluctant to learn. I am trying to make these videos now because my audience includes the students who have been coming to my class at the library for 6 months now. Most of them have never crocheted before they started coming to my class, which is free, by the way. And I have taken great pleasure in sharing my information and my knowledge with them. Understand when I say this is hard, it's because I'm not used to videotaping. Also, it's my very first time doing a YouTube channel, so I'm learning as I go. I'm sure I'll get better with the editing and with the way I sound, the things that I say, and I just ask you to bear with me because I'm learning. This is a process, but even at 59 years old, I don't feel like it's too late to learn something. So a little bit about me while I do these stitches and catch myself up here. I am 59 years old. I was born in California. I spent a lot of time in my young life with my grandparents, aunts, and uncles. So basically I was raised by them. My one aunt, who is still alive, decided when I was about 5 years old that I was quote unquote a busy child. So she knew how to crochet, and she taught me how to take yarn and a hook and teach me how to crochet. And what she taught me was to do the simple chain stitch. My students in my class, I have about 12 delightful souls in my class. One mother, 3 children who come regularly, and then probably 10 or 12 total of other ladies who attend very regularly and have come to learn how to crochet. Now, this is very, I don't know, jumpy. I'm trying to figure out the word to say here because I'm not used to videoing myself crochet. So my videos may seem a little bit weird, a little out of sorts, but I am trying to share how I do certain things. This is the mosaic crochet, and some of the terms online that you will see is the negative stitch, which is this stitch right back here, and you can see that it's a negative stitch because there's nothing in it. In mosaic crochet, you use the front loop for your double crochets and you use the back loop for your single crochets. So when I first taught myself how to do mosaic crochet at the urging of a friend from Australia, I was very hesitant because I didn't think I could do this. And since then, I have made many mosaic crochet projects. And I've used this method every single time because the negative stitches bothered me with the ridges that they left behind. I didn't like the bumpy loops being out there. I wanted them worked in. That's why all of mine are worked in one way or another. So on the black single crochets, I'm picking up the back loop, and when I do the row of black coming back across for the pink, I will pick up the back loop of the pink and fasten it down. Oh, I guess I'm doing the black right now. When I come back on the pink, I will pick up the loops of the front loops of the pink ones from below and actually join those to the single crochet leftover loops or negative stitches from the rows before. So that's a little bit about why I do it this way. It's because I taught myself to do it this way. I did look at some videos after I had started doing it, and I didn't find anybody who was doing it this exact way. Although what I saw for the most part was people just doing, this is how they would do it. They would pick up that back loop of the double crochet and work their singles for that row. So a couple things I didn't like about it was you see the gap here, and also it leaves a ridge that grows right there, and it becomes too floppy is the word I was using, but I don't know that that's necessarily the right word, but that's the word I was trying to explain to my class. For the local people, if you live near Phoenix or Peoria, I can give you directions on how to get to my class. I hold the class on Saturdays. We go from 11 to 2:30. Beginners classes will start in September. First week of every month, first Saturday of every month will be a free beginners class where I will devote my time to teaching the newbies who have never picked up a hook or have just barely started learning to crochet, and devote my time with them specifically. The rest of the month I will devote to working on projects with my class, my students, because they have been consistent. They deserve my time. And I know that might sound a bit harsh, but come on. When you have somebody who shows up for you every week, like clockwork, and does take some time out of their life to sit with you and learn a skill, it's worth it to give them 75% of my time, because 25% of my time basically is going to be devoted to sitting with the newbies, teaching the newbies, and having them learn from me how to do, like, from the very basic stitches of chain stitching and single crochet all the way up to things that are more complicated, like the mosaic crochet or Tunisian crochet. And I will get into all of those later on. I'm trying to move my class at a reasonable pace so that they aren't overwhelmed with things. I'm always finding something new to give to them as far as a lesson or an idea, and I think it's working out very well. I recently had a class where we did amigurumi, or making stuffed animals, and that my class turned out some little stuffed bears, which turned out so cute. Everybody has a different spin on how to make things, and I just love the different versions that I saw. And one of my students, she made not one, not two, but 3 of these teddy bears, and she's very ambitious. So I love her to pieces, and she will give me a fair razzing when we're in class about frogging or ripping out projects. So I have worked my way across, and I've done the single crochets in the back loop and the third loop of these double crochets from the row before. My way of anchoring them down, as I showed before, is to pick up the back loop of the double crochet, the third loop of the double crochet, which is right behind, and then the back loop of the single crochet from the row before. So you see how it closed that gap, how it made it very nice and consistent, and also the stitches are they're hidden, sort of. The pink is kind of hidden, and from a distance, I swear, it all blends in. It's so visible right now because it's so close to the camera and I'm working on it, but consistency is the key. So you want to be able to have your stitches look the same, feel the same, and work the same throughout your blanket in order to make it very consistent. And these stitches are all about the same size. It should be a very rare thing to have some that are really big and really short. They should all be double crochet in this area because that's what the pattern calls for. But if you look further into this blanket, you will see I have some double crochets here in the black, and I have a single crochet here. So this is probably an addition. If I look at the pattern real quick, I could tell you exactly why these are doubles and this is a single. So if you give me just a moment, I will check that out. So this says I am to do 3 double crochet, 1 single crochet, and then 32 double crochets. So 3 double crochet is what I have to do here. Now when I'm doing a double crochet and I'm anchoring down the double crochet, this is how I do it. I wrap my yarn like I'm going to start the double crochet, and then I pick up the front loop from below, and I grab the front loop of the single crochet from the row above with this hook. So now I have the single crochet front loop and the double or the single crochet front loop of the one below, and I will pull up the yarn, pull it through, and now I have 3 loops on my hook, which is a normal double crochet, wrap and pull through 2, wrap and pull through 2, and I've finished that double crochet. This is left a gap back here that I'll pick up on the next row when I do the pink. So another unspoken rule is that if it's a pink back loop that's exposed, it's going to be a pink front loop or pink stitch that's picking up that back loop. If it's a back loop that's exposed, it's going to be a black yarn picking up that back loop. And again, please forgive me. I'm new to making videos, so I'm just a little nervous, I guess, or anxious, but this is how I will do it. So it said to do 3 double crochets. So here's the front loop of the single or of the double crochet from 2 rows below. I'm picking up the front loop of that one, and then I'm going to pick up the front loop of that single crochet behind it, and I will wrap and pull through, wrap, pull through 2, wrap and pull through 2. So now I've done 2 double crochets. The pattern calls for 3, so I'm going to do this again. So I will wrap, put my hook through the front loop of the black one and the front loop of the pink one, and pull up my yarn, wrap, pull through 2, and pull through 2. Now this is where the pattern says to make 1 single crochet and then 32 doubles. Okay, so in this case the pattern calls for a little bit of pink to be showing through, which you see here. This is the same thing. So I did it here, and I'll do it again here. So in order to make this work, and remember I said you will not always have a double crochet in a single, but you will always have a single in your doubles. It's one of those things that I have figured out on my own before I ever watched a video. So now I'm going to do, here's my 1, 2, 3 double crochets, and this one needs to be a single. So again, like I did before, I'm going to pull up the back loop of this single, and then this bump that's right here I call the third loop, and we're going to pull that up as well and put that on my hook. So now I've got 2 loops to go through, which is where I believe that the stability comes from. I pull up my loop and I pull through 2, which is a single crochet. This is going to show through in all the black. Now we go back to making doubles. So I'm going to start again where I pull up the front loop of the black double crochet from 2 rows below, the front loop of the single crochet from the row I'm working on, and I complete my double. I don't know if other people anchor down their stitches this way. I know this is how I taught myself to do it from the very beginning when I did my first mosaic crochet, which is called the Lover's Tarot, and that's by Nerd Princess Designs, which is the same designer of this pattern that I'm working on right here, known as Nature's Serenity. If you go on to Ravelry, you will find Nerd Princess Designs on there, or Carrie, spelled Carricarey, and she is the designer. I've got dozens of her patterns now because I'm addicted. And as a dragon, which is why my channel is named Dragonettes, I have a hoard. I have a hoard of yarn. I have a hoard of hooks. I have a hoard of patterns. Somewhere on Ravelry, on my library, I've got something like 22,000 patterns that I have saved, that I have purchased, or, just acquired on there because I'm addicted. But I told my students when they first started, you will find you don't have time to get other bad habits, because yarn and crochet will take up all your time, and you will find yourself wanting to crochet instead of work, wanting to crochet then do almost anything, because it becomes an addiction. And I know for me, crocheting for over 50 years, this is something that I like to do. It helps me to relax. It helps me to concentrate and think about what I need to do in the next day or two or in the next week, or it just gives me a break from the everyday stuff. So I'm not going my natural speed here because I am videoing this, but if you see, I am working fairly quickly. I'm pulling out a little bit of slack, and then I'm working with the yarn and letting it do its thing. So again, pulling up the front loop of the double crochet from 2 rows below, and the front loop of the single crochet from the row right behind where I'm working, and finishing my double crochets all the way across. This makes a very dense blanket, a very warm blanket, and living in Arizona, it's one of those things that I always ask people, are you sure you want me to make you a blanket? Because we live in Arizona. But the truth of the matter is, blankets seem to be my thing. I love making big, expressive, beautiful blankets. And another little bit of back history on me. I've entered several of my blankets, actually probably 15 or 16, into the Arizona State Fair. In 2018, I took home the grand champion, for a black and white blanket that I made called Mandala Madness from Helen Shrimpton. It's a free pattern online. It turned out to be bigger than queen size, not king size, but it's a massive blanket, and it just turned out beautifully. So I will put up the media showing my different blankets once I figure out how to do that. I'm still learning how to use this channel and create videos, but I will do that, and I will have a what is it called? Talk over, speech over, whatever it's called. I will get better at this, I promise. And I will explain each one. And then in 2023, I went to Scotland that year, and when I came back, I created a blanket called Pasta Mercy, and that one is designed by Nikki Chapin of Wiggle Sticks Designs, and she puts out winners, let me tell you. That blanket, I have pictures of it over my car, draped over my car, because it was over 11 feet across from the center. And it that one took Best of Arizona. So I produce great big blankets that take ribbons at the state fair. Now, I've run out of places to put a double crochet, and the way I know that I need to stop is because I don't have anywhere else to put a double crochet. I've done the front loop of the double crochet below and the front loop of the single crochet behind it, and I'm back to double crochets. So if you remember my rule that I said was kind of an unspoken thing, these can only have single crochets in them because double crochets do not go in double crochets. So I'm going to count my stitches just to make sure that I have 32 double crochets here, and then I will go back to single crochet. So according to the pattern, I need to do 32 double crochets, which I believe I just did, then 64 single crochets. So if we count the stitches here, we have the first 3 double crochets and the 1 single, and then we will go and I will count the stitches. So I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 2, 4, 6, 8, 30, 32 stitches that are all double crochets. What you see on the back, again, is an exposed back loop of the single crochet from the row below. And this will be single crochets when I come back. They'll be single crochets in the pink. Now if I start back again into doing single crochets, I'm going to pick up the back loop and then the third loop, or that bump that's back there, and you can kind of see it. So here's the back loop and the bump of a double crochet, and then I will go right down in here and pick up that back loop of the single crochet from the row that I worked before. Okay, and then I'll finish my stitch. So the anatomy of the stitches, when you are looking at a double crochet from the front, it's kind of flat, it's a little bumpy, but it's not bumpy like the back side of a double crochet. There is a difference. So the front of your work has this cross that comes up. So you got these two legs and this little cross that comes up, and then it looks like it's holding its arms up, and then here's the top of it. If you look from the top of the double crochet, you see what I call the V. So the V is this stitch here, or the top of the stitch. So you've got, here's the bottom of your V, here it comes up, and you keep going. So you're just putting double crochet and double crochet, and they're joined by the motion that you're doing. So the front of the double crochet, the top of the double crochet, the front loop, the back loop, and then that third loop, which is that bump right there. That's the anatomy of the double crochet. The other thing that you can see about the double crochet, the back looks very different from the front. You have all these little bumps back here, and this is one of your surest ways of knowing that you're looking at the back side. The front is kind of flat, the back has bumps. And then of course with the single crochet, it's quite a bit smaller. The anatomy of a single crochet is just you're pulling up one loop. You're not actually wrapping, you're just pulling up your loop and you're going through both loops. That's a single crochet. So the difference there is that it's half the size of a double crochet, hence the reason why it's called a single. This is two, you do the movement twice, and here you do it once. So the top of your double or of your single crochet is very similar. It's going to be hard to see because it's black, but you have the V here, and then for this bump you see the back bump is right there. So that's the anatomy of the double crochets and the single crochets. When you're working mosaics, at least with Nerd Princess Designs, she's only using single crochets and double crochets in her patterns. I do know there are other designers out there who throw some wild stitches in there. I have not used those designs yet, but I have purchased many of them, and I haven't done them because I am a little bit worried that I'm not going to do it justice. So I'll try those. 6L Designs specifically does a lot of the slanted stitches and sometimes some elongated stitches. I'm not ready to get into that yet, although I do know how to do them. I'm not going to do them. So right now what I'm doing is just going to be showing how to do like what I consider the most mainstream mosaic patterns, which are the double crochets with the single crochet and those two stitches making up the whole pattern. So as far as this goes, I'm working back again into the third or the back loop and the third loop of the double crochets, picking up the back loop of the single crochet from the row before, and I'm working those stitches for 64 across. And I'm going a little bit slower to make it easier for me to see what I'm doing, but also to keep it so that you can see what I'm doing. As you see, I'm doing a single crochet and I'm picking up those two loops there, and I'll pick up this loop here so that I give my work stability, wrap my yarn, pull through all three, pull it up, and I've got two loops on my hook and pull through all two, or through both of those. I'm using a 5mm hook, which is also known as an H hook, and as you can see by the wear that's on it, I use this one a lot. I've worn the blue paint off of it for using it for years and years. This one I received from my aunt in Utah. From what I understand, it was my grandmother's hook, and so after I visited her, she gave me this hook, and she said, you know, this was grandma's hook, and she crocheted all the time, so I'm hopefully giving her honor by using it for a lot of my projects. But I also like the size of the hook. It's comfortable in my hand, and it works very well for these mosaic projects. that the stitches are consistent, they're easy, they're not exaggerated, they're not too small, they're just like the right size. And it provides and also creates a blanket that's about queen size on this pattern, and for the ones that I've done from Nerd Princess Designs. So this is the single crochet again through the back 2 loops, the back loop, the 3rd loop, and then picking up that back loop of the single crochet from below, and once again the back side of the work, just showing you the difference. This is a good place for me to stop because I want to make another video showing the pattern, the process from start to somewhere in the middle. But the difference here, you can see I've caught the stitches of the black single crochet, which has closed that up, but now I have this ridge of pink ones that will be picked up and closed on the next pass with the pink. The exception here is this one single crochet where I did 3 doubles and then a single crochet. That made it different. I've already picked up those, the second and or the back loop and the 3rd loop here, so that's not available to me when I come back. It'll be the back loop, 3rd loop, and then that back loop here for 3. Then it'll be just worked. However, whatever this is here, if it's a double crochet or if it's another single, I don't know yet, and I'll work it accordingly. You can see where I've done this before, and it makes the pattern stand out in those areas. So this is a good example of the picking up the pink. I pick up the pink with the pink. I pick up the black with the black. There are no stitches left behind, so these exposed stitches get picked up on the round, or I'm sorry, on the row that comes after the contrast. So I'm going to get busy making another video with my process from the start to wherever on a smaller piece that is more manageable and hopefully a little bit easier for people to learn. And I will give you that information in that video. Thank you for watching.